Jade joins us now, as you can see, along with her mum Roz and Dr. Hannah Kazkaz, the Chief Medical Advisor for Ehlers-Danlos UK.
And the robot's here.
And the robot's here as well. And before we talk to you about what this syndrome is, how did you do in your GCSEs? I hear you did really well.
I did okay,
What did you
yeah.
get?
I managed to get a 6 and a 9, which is better than I expected.
Mine's brilliant. That's top marks. Fantastic. Have you got a name for your robot? Got a nickname for the robot?
Yes, this is R2B2.
That's a very nice little nod to that.
I love it. And this is when you're not well enough to go to school, and you get these days when you just can't go in. The robot's going to go in your place, and we'll talk about this in a minute, and the robot is going to be your eyes and your ears in the classroom, and you'll be back at home in bed, and it'll be as if you're in the classroom. You'll hear everything.
And more importantly, it'll be my voice.
Exactly, you can speak.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that in a second. Tell us about the syndrome that she has and why it's so debilitating.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It's called Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, so it's not one thing. It's actually a group of conditions that affect the connective tissue. And depends on the type of the collagen that is actually affected and the type of what we call the gene mutation, the patient will present in different way. But as a group of conditions, they can share some clinical features. The commonest clinical feature is what we call hypermobility. That means the joints are over-flexible, which potentially can cause problems with dislocations, which I believe that Jade has problems with that. Also, the skin texture could be different, so it varies from a soft skin to a very fragile skin. And sometimes, because the connective tissue is all over the body, you can really be completely systemic, so it can affect you from top to toe.
And there's fitting as well, isn't there?
Fitting is not part of the syndrome.
Oh, but you have fits, don't you?
I have seizures.
Seizures.
Yeah, and they're non-epileptic, but they are a part of the condition, but I don't know whether or not it is actually the Ehlers-Danlos that causes it.
Yes, so it's not directly,
Yes.
it's not part, so the Ehlers-Danlos are something to do with the connective
So it's
tissue.
more of an association.
Yes.
So overall,
Association,
what it
exactly, that
means
would
is that you've had to take a lot of time out of schooling, have you? And how has that disrupted your, your education? And why did you end up? How did this happen? Getting this robot?
Well, for me, a lot of the time I've ended up being at home or in bed because I've been unwell, I've been either having seizures, I've been in paralysis, I've had a lot of different issues going on, but one thing that I'm really lucky that I've never really had has been an inability to learn. So if I've had access, if I've had access to education, then I've been able to soak it up as best I could. And so this is brilliant because it means it doesn't matter if I'm in school or if I'm at home, I'm still going to be able to learn, I'm still going to be able to access my teachers.
And do you operate it with a remote control? How does it work?
I operate it with an iPad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's brilliant. It's a really easy to use
Can you give us a demo as you're talking?
Pardon?
I'm not sure it's connected. Is it connected?
It's not connected at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know why, but we're working on getting all the things sorted out.
Mum, is R2B2 better behaved than Roz? I mean, does it tidy its bedroom? Does it listen to you when you say
no?
Don't
It's
go out
exactly
wearing
what
that?
she tells it to.
I mean, how is this? Have you started using it? I know you're going to start it next week when you go back to college. How is it changing life for you already, having this robot in the house? And
Massively so, because Jade can spend weeks at a time in bed just looking at 4 walls.
that must be depressing for a mum because she's so bright. Yeah.
Very depressing and very distressing, seeing her in pain. But more than that, the disappointment of not being able to reach her potential and not being able to have relationships with people, not being able to make commitments to go to clubs. Or...
And in terms of education, every day she's in bed and not at school, you know that it's slipping away from her. However clever and bright she is, she's missing out. But not now. How does the robot get to college? Do you get a taxi?
Well, I think a lot of the time people think that it's an awful lot of work to be able to see things and whatnot, but it is an awful lot just like moving me around. So if I would go to school, then I would have to get there somehow, and the robot does exactly the same. Someone drops it off.
So someone drops it off, it's put in your desk where you normally sit, and it's moved around if you move around classrooms, and it's got 360-degree vision, so it can look all the way around the classroom.
Yeah. So can you see what the robot's seeing?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And how do your friends react to it? Are they sort of pally with R2B2? I mean, the interaction with the robot is quite interesting because it's your voice.
Yeah, I'm working on making friends. We're getting there. But I imagine that they will be all right with it. No, there's been a lot of people so far who've met RTB2 or the previous one, B, and they've been all right with it. For a while, it's kind of a shock factor because, let's face it, it's a cute marshmallow. But it hasn't lasted long until they've started to see it as just being an extension of me.
All right, so it sees 360 degrees, so you can look behind you. It speaks, you can speak through it, and also there's a function where you can whisper to your person sitting next to you,
Which
so
is
the
not
teacher
for
can't hear.
gossiping. No, that's for when you're trying to beat the rest of the class in an equation. You're just like 352, and they're like, no, 354.
And you can put your hand up. It's a blue light come on?
Yeah, the blue light is to say I'm not well enough to speak right now. I can't answer questions. It's basically a cop-out for when you don't feel like you know a subject very well.
Yeah. When you haven't read the book the night
You are
before.
funny. You're a really funny girl.
But the top, thank you. But the top flashes to say I have a question, or most of the time I use it for waving.
Brilliant. And you're the first person in the UK, we think, to use it.
Yes.
That's incredible. I just wonder whether it can do your homework on its knees on the back of the bus, you know, how I used to do. You're trying to make it do all sorts of things
It hasn't got
for
any
you.
arms yet.
Unfortunately.
But I'm thinking that could be an add-on in the future.
I think
Very
so.
quickly, last question. You keep calling R2D2 it. Isn't it a him?
It is a him. It's because our previous one was a female,
right.
so I'm just getting used to it.
You're going through the gender
Given current
change.
trends, it should be gender neutral, but we won't get onto that because we know how this programme has caused a lot of debate about that. Thank you, all three of
Thank you.
And
Lovely
I
to
can
see
see
you
you're all smiling, so it's obviously making a big difference.
Good stuff.
Massive difference.
Great.